Off here. Kind of just gave the overview of what you're going to see. You're going to see the updated park concept that was put together by Kimberly Thorne. And then obviously we're going to help answer your questions and get any feedback so we can collect that and take it to council for the December 9th meeting. A little bit of background on how we got here. In March of 2012, the city kicked off and announced Project Renaissance was going to be happening. A total of 35 acres. We had a 16-acre, many of you know it as a former PVC park, and it is now under construction with some new city parks, and a 19-acre property, which is what we're talking about here today, so the 5-acre parks on that. In July 2012, we had public input on all that concept and the plans for going on. We did some charrettes in September, got a lot of good feedback on what people wanted to see at the park. It's a 16-acre park, and what could potentially go into the 5-acre park on a 19-acre site. And then in October, the council approved plans for the 16-acre park by Georgetown Park, which is currently under construction. A little bit about the layout here. We're talking right now in the small children's playground that's going on right now, the construction that's going on there. We went from concept to reality. So we had the plans here and some of the renderings for the park. As you can see here, the playground equipment and a lot of the area, the skating for the park is going on right now. This is a current, probably taken a couple weeks ago, so we're having more and more progress going on. Same sort of idea for the Georgetown Park Square. We had public meetings to have citizens provide input, and we went from concept, which is right here, into construction reality. Some features here, obviously the pavilion, some restrooms, and back behind here are the planned bocce courts. Bocce ball courts are being constructed right here. We have the pavilion and the restrooms that are going in. Which takes us up to what we're going to be talking about this evening, which is the 5-acre park and the plans for that. A little bit of background on that. What started out with a couple of concepts. We got together with Kimberly Thorne and we developed two concepts which we talked to the public about, got some input on. Concept A, which still had our amphitheater, some open space, a parking lot, a smaller court, and some pavilion and child playground. Another concept on that was similar, a little bit different in the layout. Parking lot was more along the lines of Pernoshal, a couple of children's playgrounds, the court, you see the open fields, and the amphitheater area. From those concepts and from the feedback we got from the public as well as council, we developed the concept which we're discussing here this evening, which is the latest concept for the park. And I will now invite Mike to talk a little bit about some of the key features for the park. And Mike.
All right, I'm going to do my best to fill in for our parks manager, Brent Walker, tonight. The new concept here, we took some of the input we got last time and tried to improve upon the two concepts we had before to take kind of the best of both of them and put them together. Some features that have changed. The multi-use trail, it used to come down and come along and come out here. We moved it to the back of the property here and coming up along the back side of the park. That'll get it out of the high traffic areas of the park. We were concerned about some conflict between the trail going right along through the parking lot area where there's going to be a lot of traffic. So we moved that to the back, and it'll work its way up the slope here and it's coming out on North Shallowford and connecting it to the 16-acre parks that we're developing. We combined the restroom and pavilion facility into one structure. That I should save money park there. That'll be a nice feature, making use of the existing terrain out there. There's 2 playgrounds here and here, one for smaller children, one for older children. And then another thing, we had the 2 concepts last time. One of them had more parking, but it was oriented through kind of divided the park in half. And there was some concern about trying to go from one side of the park to the other, and the parking lot being in between. And the other concept had the parking out here, but it wasn't as much. We've kind of taken those and put those together and created as much parking out here as we can. And then also, the city owns this facility here, and we're leasing that out, but our lease agreement allows us to use the parking on nights and weekends during non-business hours. So we've shown additional parking here. In reality, that whole lot's available, and during a weekend event where you might have a larger crowd here for the amphitheater. So we've maximized the parking on the site without really dividing the park in half like it was in one of the previous concepts. And then we have kind of the active area of the park here with the playground, pavilion, amphitheater, and then this large, nice sized multi-use field there for passive recreation, and then there's a picnic area up here also. That I think highlights most of the changes there. Just summarizes what I talked about. This is a large view of the multi-sport area and the sports field area and the basketball court here. And I think there's a enlargement of the pavilion area, playgrounds, and picnic area. And then there's the amphitheater. The timeline, we're having this meeting tonight. We're going to take the feedback we get here, go back to the city council in December, at their December meeting, get some final input and approval of the concept, and then we'll be ready to start doing the construction drawings, getting ready to put this out to bid next year. We have funding to do the site improvements next year. We'll be putting in at least the parking, the fields, and the flat concrete work. Some of the pavilion and other amenities may come in the future year as our budget allows, what we have budgeted for next year. But we're expecting that we'll finish the drawings by spring and be going into construction next summer for the first phase of this park.
What we asked,
She's got 1 or 2, I'll let her go first. What's a bioswim?
Bioswim. So that, we have some areas shown on the plans. Those are areas that we use for stormwater treatment. We need to detain and treat the stormwater before it runs off. A bioswale is an area where you put in an improved kind of sandy soil that'll percolate the water, and then you can plant it with vegetation that likes water and kind of create a natural area to control the stormwater.
Okay, do you anticipate in a multi-purpose field that there will be regular, like soccer games, or?
That's a good question. It's an informal field. There won't be any lights. The city's not going to put lines on it. So we're not expecting there'll be any type of formal leagues there. It's for people to go out, play flag football, informally kick the soccer ball, throw frisbee, that kind of thing.
Give me an idea of the size of something.
Somebody help me out.
It's about 200 by 200
200 by 200
feet.
Where are the houses?
Let's see, the new houses, I don't know if we have a plan that, it was right here.
I have a plan to do. I have a plan to do it.
there is a board that Kimberly has right here that shows a little bit more in detail. If you take a look at that.
Yeah, I think one point that needs to be made, this plan isn't this plan isn't written in concrete up here or anything, you know. This is the latest ideas. And that's why you're all here tonight. We want to hear your ideas.
So here's the park, and then these are the houses. And then the city will keep a natural area down here between the neighborhood and the Acre tributary. May have some natural surface trails in it, but that's pretty much take with it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Michael, having worked with performing arts groups and put on various shows, I'm going to tell you your amphitheater is the most poorly placed location on this site. If you could swap it with the picnic shelters, because there's going to be sound from the street that is going to, no matter how much amplification you put out there, which I'm thinking probably is going to be very little initially, it's not going to be effective for anybody who's doing any sort of performance. Swapping it to the back would be a big plus.
Okay.
Or, better still, moving it to a place like Brook Run where there is very limited traffic anyway, and it wouldn't be infringing upon performance.
If you can make sure and write those kind of comments down, so we'll capture those.
Right. Yes.
Well, commenting with her on I think it should go to Brook Run Park as far as traffic, and not only the noise, but I believe there are only 68 parking spaces here available, and that's when we're able to use that space across the road even. And so I'm hoping we would have a nice size amphitheater where we could have some wonderful cultural events. We need more parking, we need quiet for it, we need where we're not going to have all the congestion of people trying to come and go there, and we're going to have a lot of other events going on right around that amphitheater. We need more space, and we have 103 acres at Brook Run Park. So I agree with her. We need to do this, and we need to have the space for it.
And you have to adjust to the terrain, you adjust to the terrain.
We certainly already done that, adjust to the terrain at Brook Run
Does
Park.
anybody have a question? Here we go. Thank you.
Yeah, what consideration has been given to the amount of traffic and noise? Because I live on that street right now, and the amphitheater and everything, it all looks nice and everything like that, but there's going to be other homes built too, and so between parking and traffic and everything, I don't think the residents are being considered.
Here's the park here, and the parking we're showing is all up in here pretty close to North Shallowford. As I mentioned before, the new neighborhood will be right in here, but I think all the residential is back in here, and the park element is up in here. And we've got the active elements of the park up close to North Shallowford, with the field back here being a more passive area.
I have a question about the budget. Could you briefly describe the budget for design and construction of all phases of this site and the future site? Name the sources of those funds and your estimated cost to complete.
You're asking about the 16 and the 19
Both.
acre?
Yeah.
That's a lot to try to.
Well, why is it a lot? I mean, it's normal.
I'm happy to answer your
Plan.
question. Happy to answer your question.
Okay.
The 16 acre, the construction contract is for $1.8 million. And that includes all of the improvements the city's putting onto the site. There's funding on this first phase here. It's not done construction drawings. So we don't have the benefit of engineering yet.